Welcome to this video with me, Duncan Williamson, in which I'm going to show you how to go from this Excel table, and it must be an Excel table, into a pivot table where we want to show sales as a percentage of the total. You can see here in column C that 2.252% is this value as a percentage of this value, and that goes all the way down the same, this value as a percentage of this value. And I want to maintain that in the pivot table whilst I filter the table for top 10, top 5, top N. Let's see the problem. Let's see the solution. Let's create a pivot table from this. So here I am on the table design, and I've given my Excel table the name Sales 4, and then click on Summarize with Pivot Table. And I would like it to be in the existing worksheet in the location there. Click OK. Over here on the right hand side, let's put the customer here and the sales there. And I'm going to put the sales again. Even though I've got the column percentage, I'm not going to use that. What I do is this: I right click on this column and then show values as percentage of grand total. And there's your 2.52%, your 6.36%. Then I would like to filter it, right click in the customer column, the parent column, filter top 10, and I'd like it to be 5, so I can use the arrows here or simply overtype 5, click OK. But look what happens. E43827, which is 9.46% as a percentage of this one, now E is 19.99%. Why? And the answer is because it's only using the visible values. And when you add a subtotal to that, sorry, a grand total to that, here, design, grand totals, on for columns only, you'll find that this, as a percentage of this, is 19.99%. Can I prove that? Equals, divide, there you are, 0.199898. That's the problem. What's the solution? Let's find out. Get rid of that one then. Just drag it away. And one answer, this is method number 1. So let's go to method 1 sheet and see what the answer might be there. I've set it out in full, but here's a warning. It will work. What I'm about to do will work, but it relies on hard coding that value in the pivot table in a calculated field. But what happens when they change? Warning. You'll either need to change your calculated field or do it a different way. Method number 2. Here we go. Just to confirm, this time this is the original Excel table, which is called sales now. Never mind. Summarize with the pivot table. Whoops, I did it. Existing worksheet. Here, I'll put it in the same place again. Click OK. And customer, sales. Now, pivot table analyze, field items and sets, calculated field. I'm going to call it call percent. Get rid of that 0, it's a nuisance. Sales, divide, ready, 463,116. Hard code that value. Make sure you've added the correct value there. Click OK. Format as percentage. number format, percentage, 2 decimal, n decimal places. There you are, E, 9.46%, A, 2.52%. Let's filter it now. Top 5, top anything you like. Well, there we are. We can add the grand total if you like. So you know that the grand total of those visible fields, 5, is 219,247, but yet E is showing the correct value. Well, not the correct, the appropriate value. This explains how I did that. If you missed anything that's too quick, go back earlier in the video or read through this, and step by step you'll get this answer. It works. Warning, it doesn't work when this happens. For the sake of argument, C becomes 40,000. It doesn't take a genius to realize that's changed. Therefore, this calculated field is wrong. Well, what do we do about that? What can we do about that? Call up your existing formula and change that. So edit it. So you can do that. But again, if you forget, or if you send this spreadsheet to someone else who doesn't know any of this, and you don't tell them, bad idea. All right, let's not linger on that one. Let's go to method 2. I've already done it, but I'm going to walk you through it anyway. Here then, method 2, you can see it's quite a bit longer. It's more sophisticated. And whatever you have in here, it will reflect here, of course, and it will also be reflected here live. What do I mean? I mean this. So I'm going to walk you through this, but I've done it already. So click on your Excel table, and now you must have the Power Pivot add-in added. You must have that as follows. Let's assume that it's not added. File, Options, Add-ins, COM add-ins, click on Go, and it should be here somewhere. There you are, Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel, but make sure that's ticked. Click OK, and it will appear there, and you can now do what I do. And what I did is open up Power Pivot. Maybe you have to restart Excel. Save your file and restart. Power Pivot, then with this table just selected but anywhere by being anywhere in it, click on Add to the Data Model. That's all you do. Click it once, and then this will happen. It will open here, and there is your Excel table in the data model. And I've still got that column percentage there. The secret here is in this calculation area, you can now create your calculated field. They're called measures in Power Pivot. And when you click on this one, or if you want to create a new one, select an empty cell. But I've done it already, and I've called it percentage of total sales. This bit, you can call whatever you like. Let's call it call percentage B. Since we've already got call percentage somewhere, but then the formula you can't change, equals sum sales, that name, divided by calculate sum that name sales, exactly like that, comma, all bracket table 1. So this is called table 1. Didn't change that. Give it a new name as you wish. And make sure you've got all the brackets closed out, and then press enter. And you've now got your measure in Power Pivot, and it's ready now. What do? we click on Pivot Table on this ribbon, and it says, where would you like to put this table? On a new worksheet or the existing worksheet? I've already got it there, but I'm going to create a new one. I'll put it down here so I don't interfere with that one, because this one can be as long as this table, obviously. So I'll put it down here, somewhere down here, click OK, click OK. There it is. Now what you see is a number of tables. You won't see this, you'll only see one. Yes. So I've already got two tables because I've been working on this already. Don't worry about that. But do notice a couple of things. Here, now it's Power Pivot. You can add more than one table to a pivot table using Power Pivot. We only want one, so you can ignore those two. Don't worry about them. You won't see more than one. I've added the customer to the rows area of my new table. I'm going to add sales there. And this one, the column percentage, is based on our DAX function, that formula in Power Pivot. When I add that, tidy with the names later, right click, number format, percentage, 2 or more decimal places, you choose. Now, the proof of the pudding, all down here, is in the eating. Ready? Let's filter. Top 10, top 5, click OK. What do we see? In this situation, because of the way I've done it with the 3 different input tables, I want to make changes to this just to prove the point. And what I need to do is this. Go back to the original table, because my Power Pivot model, data model, it comes from that table. It doesn't come from anything on method 1, method 2. It comes from that original table. So what I mean is, the point there is that I want to change this, let's say, to 50,000, which I've done now. But then in the data model, so I made the change to this original table so that in the data model, when I click on refresh, which I've done now here, it updates. And that means that when I go back to my method 2, this table doesn't change. Don't worry about that. This table has got nothing to do with this pivot table. I'm sure you understand that. But now you can see that the Power Pivot data model has updated this cell here to 50,000 based on that original Excel table there. So there you are then. That is how to do what we set out to do. Thank you for watching again.